Hello and welcome to episode 31 of Healing Vibrations. This is the broadcast where we aim to change perspective of illness to see it as a gift. And today I'm very excited to be joined with me by Wendy Smith, who is a Paralympian and a motivational speaker. And when I met her, I don't know, it must have been a couple of months ago now, she gave a very it was a speech that touched me. She gave a fantastic talk. Her story, and she'll tell you more about this, is that she had a spinal cord injury when she was,
17.
17 was it? So I went to 1989 that was, and she was told she would never walk again. Well, all I can say, when I met Wendy, she might have been using a stick, but she was definitely walking. So I'm really excited for you to come and share your story and share some of maybe what the gift that you found in not just the illness, but the accident and where that's led you, really. So thanks, Wendy, for joining me.
Yeah, pleasure to be asked to come and do this with you, to be honest. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So tell us a little bit about your story and how if you have found a gift inside of it that you've managed to unwrap and move it forward into your life.
Yeah, well, I suppose a little bit of a past background pre-accident would probably be helpful as well. So I grew up in a pub. I have two very different parents. My mum, she's very academic, very compassionate woman, extremely compassionate, loves animals, just wants everybody to be okay at all times. That's pretty much mum. My dad, very practical man, very, very practical. He was a test driver for Ford's Motor Company before we moved into the pub. When I was about 5 or 6 years old, we took it over from Granny and Grandad. Wow. And then life sort of changed. We'd had mum and dad, as normal parents, and then went into this environment where it was sort of like self-survival, really, in a way, because all of a sudden the parents were working 24 hours a day, and everything we'd go and say, Mum, can you help us with this? Well, can you have a look at doing it yourself first, dear? And if you can't, I'll come and help you. So we grew up in a very resilient, we were resilient, but taught resilience as well.
Right, interesting.
We were taught self-awareness from a very early age, be very aware of yourself because of the pub as well. Dad always said, no man stands above another and everybody's money is the same colour. So we were taught to be non-judgmental, accepting of a fashion of others, but obviously with your boundaries. So we sort of grew up in an environment where we worked from an early age, because if we wanted pocket money, we had to do jobs. It's as simple as that. And I hated school. So I just always wanted to be at home with mum and dad in the pub and with the animals and stuff. So I was I was a little tearaway. I'm a year younger than my sister. She was very good, very A grade, very, very quiet. But she's, I always say my sister is my protector in life. She was always there standing in front of me, sort of protecting the little sis, if you know what I mean. So, the pub life it had two sides to it. Obviously, there's a lot of alcohol involved. So one side wasn't very pretty, but the other side, our parents adored us and they did everything they could to give us balance, if you know what I mean, as much as they could. And then I left school wanting to be a car mechanic. That didn't turn out well. Just through things, I walked into a very chauvinistic world when I was 15 and went to do your work experience.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I was so excited. This was like somewhere around 1985, 1986. And I was so excited to actually have fought against the school and got allowed to go and do my week's work in a garage. And it just turned out to me sort of kicked all the stuffing out of me, really, because I was just met with constant chauvinistic comments, being laughed at and mocked, and for a week, without going into detail. There was two blokes in there that were really good, but the rest, it just made me think, I'm not fighting people in a working environment. And I was only 15. You know what I mean? I didn't really understand it. I'd grown up in a pub. I was good with banter, but I'd never really experienced.
This was a bit beyond banter.
That type of, I suppose, sexism in a way.
Yeah.
So I said to my dad, I'm not doing that. And he went, well, kid, you've got lots of options in life. Just go and try stuff until you find something you like. And then I went and got a job as a secretary, which would have made all the people at school really happy because I was doing a girl's job. And then, unfortunately, had a motorbike. Well, I say fortunately, had a motorbike accident when I was 17 years old. And I did break lots of things. I broke lots of ribs, broke my back in 3 places, got a lesion to the spinal cord at T6. So in between the chest, punctured lung, fractured skull.
Wow.
I had 4 cardiac arrests over the period of 24 hours. Longest one was for 8.5 minutes. So yes, I've been in and out of you know, the death experience as well. And then when I woke up, they told me, you're paralysed from the chest down, you're never going to walk again. And the interesting thing was, in my head, I was thinking, what are these people talking about? You know, I'm fine. And when they finally got the ventilator out of my mouth so I could speak to them, you know, they'd come around and the doctor would say, you've sort of got to get your head around this now, Wendy, so you don't have trauma from it. You're not going to walk again. And I'd go, mate, I don't know I'm fine. You're paralysed. I'd go, but I'm fine. And we'd have this weird conversation. And he'd go off and say to my parents and my friends, you know, I think she's in total denial of what's happened. But I couldn't deny what was happening in my head. My head was saying, you're okay. Wow. And then it took a long time. I mean, I went to Stoke Mandeville in Aylesbury, and even there, the physiotherapists were treating me as a paraplegic. So I was saying to them, you know, can you not show me how to get this stuff working? And they're like, well, it doesn't work. So there's not what we can do with that. Yeah. And then when my big toe started moving on my left foot, and I said to them, like, the big toe's moving, like, I was so excited. And they said the same thing, well, it's your big toe, nothing else moves. And I was like, oh, what is wrong with these people? So me and my sister did a lot of my rehabilitation. And, wow. You know, there's a lot of screaming, crying, swearing, falling over, getting up, falling over, getting up, giving up, not giving up. You know, it's sort of, I was on this like roller coaster for months and months until I finally got to the point where I could walk 10 paces on crutches, and then they released me from hospital. They said, when you can do 10 paces on crutches, we'll let you go home. That was 8 months after the accident.
So that was like, and no point then, because I talk a lot about mindset and getting your mindset in the right place. So it sounds like your mindset was just in there. It wasn't accepting their prognosis as any type of reality at all. No,
none whatsoever. And the thing was, in those days, I didn't really know anything about mindset. That all came later. I was quite a stubborn child. If you told me I couldn't do something, I'd be like, I'll show you anything. Yeah. I'll go and do it. So we come from quite a determined family. We're all very, you know, if we fell over as children, and I've got cuts on me that should have had serious medical attention, that I went running home to my mum with. Like, I've got a big scar on my neck where I ran into a barbed wire fence and hung myself.
Oh my goodness.
I just missed the windpipe, and I went running home to mum and went,
all covered in blood.
Yeah, there's blood everywhere, literally big hole in my neck. And she just went, put on a tissue, wiped it, stuck a plaster on it, and went, there you go, dear, you're fine, go out and play. And I've come back out to play. 2 days later, she thought, I better just take her to the doctors and get it looked at. And he was just shaking his head going, this should have had stitches in it, you know. But mum was like, she'll be all right.
She'll be fine.
Savlon or a bit of Dettol on that, it'll be fine. So we sort of grew up in that environment. You know, if you fell over, cut yourself, you'd probably get laughed at first, then you'd be sent out. So it was, I don't know, it's just one of those things. It was, for me, it was more frustrating than anything, because I'd gone from being fully able-bodied and running about, and I came out of school, you know, I was county level sports at school. I love sports. So I was very physically fit as well. Not that I was doing much when I got out of school. I sort of went off the rails, and that's why I think this happened, to be honest. Bit of a
that's quite interesting.
Course correction time. Yeah. But yeah, I think the resilience really helped. But when I got into hospital, I found I was just frustrated. So I was frustrated with the attitude of some of the staff. I was frustrated with the body because the body wouldn't move. You know, I was pretty much just frustrated with everybody around me, really. And I think it was that, you know, the anger and frustration that drove me. Actually, probably not the best. Now I know what I know about emotion, probably not the best emotional drivers to use.
But the fact that you were using your emotions as drivers, then, you know, they're valid emotions to have, aren't they, in that situation?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I had a lot of fun in hospital. It was a laugh as well. But it was hard work. I was just dragging a body about that didn't want to do what the head was telling it. That's why I'd get frustrated, and I wanted everything to happen now. And it wasn't, you know. So I was sort of battling, the thoughts were battling the body, and it was an odd mix. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, I got very, very depressed at points, and just thought, I started the old victim mentality of why me? You know, what have I done to deserve this? But my family and friends, they're very good at kicking me out of anything. So they wouldn't tolerate any of that. And actually there was one great nurse, male nurse, I can't remember his name, but he was an old Irish guy. My dad will remember his name. Ron. Oh, and he'd come round, he'd go, "What's the matter with Daddy's little angel? Not getting your own way today," like this and stuff like that. And it used to infuriate me. And I'd go, "I'm going to kill you when I get out of bed, Ron." And he'd go, "But you got to get out of bed first, Spark, haven't you?" Like that, you know. And I'd be like, "I kill him, Dad. I'm going to kill him." Yeah, but he was great because he kept a bit of fight in me, same as like my family did. So
yeah, well, I think that's, well, obviously it's so important because it pushed you to a place. If you've just taken their prognosis as that's it, then I'll just sit here, then that would have been your prognosis, wouldn't it?
Lord only know. Well, this is what I know now from working in, we'll get to this obviously at some point later on, but from what I work in now, I totally get what happened to me. So on the levels of metaphysical reasons for illness, you know.
Yeah, okay, you're brilliant. Let's have a look into that.
I know what the back was all about. And then from the belief system side of things now. So I know that it was because my head held a belief that I would be fine, is why the body played out. You know, I might not be running yet. My only goal in life is to run again, you know.
Oh, I have every faith that you will. Yeah.
At some point I will. And it made me realise the power of a thought, because a belief's just a thought you think. So it's, you know, made me aware that there's power within this system, unlocked hidden power that we've not been taught about.
Yeah, well, absolutely. We're not taught about it until we start doing our own investigation. So yes. So how did that? You sort of mooted earlier about, you know, now what the accident was all about and what that. So can you tell us a little bit more about that and what you?
Well, it was the upbringing. I think I've just quickly got to quit my WhatsApp on my laptop. I didn't realise it was on.
Pinging.
Yeah, I think it was all about the back here. It's all about emotional support, isn't it, and family. And there were lots of issues going on in the family, and it was more for the alcohol that was involved. Mum and Dad were under so much pressure and stress. How on earth they got through what they got through? I mean, they're still together now. They're 78 now.
Wow.
How they got through what they got through in that pub environment, I'd never know. You know, my hat off to them now as an adult looking back, how they managed that and tried to keep me and my sister separate from everything that was going on. But obviously it bleeds into your kids, doesn't it?
It has to, doesn't it, at some point? Yeah.
Yeah, it was never, nothing was ever about us, as in it was all about each other. They'd just lose the plot with each other every now and then. And, you know, because the stress of the job and other things. And
the stress of having a teenage girl that was... yeah, that had a bad accident as well.
This is prior to that. So prior to that, so me thinking what the back was all about, when you look at it, I think it's down to emotional support, lack of emotional support.
Right. Okay.
Me and my sister never wanted to add to our parents' stress. So anything that was going on in life, I had a lot of issues from the age of about 11 at senior school, from 11 to 15, and I never wanted to tell anybody about them because I just thought, there's too much stress for them already. The last thing I need is to be putting more stress on. So you hold it all in yourself.
Right.
And so when you look at the metaphysical reasons for like the back break where it was, it pretty much is like a pattern of what was happening in my life up until that point.
Wow.
Like I say, I'd gone a bit off the rails as well. I was knocking about some people that you wouldn't really want your kids to be knocking about with. And that path, if I'd have continued down, it could have taken me into some very dark spaces. So I think literally when I had that accident that night, it was a universal intervention of going, we're just going to stop her. Just stop one moment. We're going to take away a few things that she's taken for granted, and we're just going to give her a bit of time to contemplate what she really wants in life. And it has. I mean, it's, you know, I've had an amazing life experience. The last 33 years have been absolutely amazing. They really, really have. When I look back and reflect on what I've done, where I've been, who I've met, you know, the experiences, good and bad.
Yeah,
we have all of them. They've all, you know, contributed to me being who I am today, and I'm pretty proud of who I am today. You know, I'm a good, solid person with a lot of compassion and understanding and empathy and.
Definitely. Yes.
But it's the 33 years of, you know, all that rubbish and all the good stuff in between that's taught me that. So I think it it stopped me at a point when I needed stopping, and I needed to do something different.
I think that's it's really interesting that you say that, because that's sort of what I get out of my MS. It definitely changed or helped change the direction that my life was going in, and anything that stops you, and there probably would have been little signs that you weren't aware of, because maybe you weren't so self-aware, or you were very much on this, like, let's go on this self-destruct path because it's fun and there's people there, and it's giving you something that you're missing. But
Massively.
yeah.
I think that's what it all was. I was externally searching for some form of happiness, and the happiness I'm an adrenaline junkie. I really am, right? And we can talk about this as well. And I now realize I've been on a Joe Dispenza retreat for 7 days. So one of his
yes, you were going on it, weren't you? Cool.
Yeah, and I now understand so much more about myself, and I understand why I've been an adrenaline junkie.
Oh.
Because it was the feeling. So I'd shut my heart down when I was a kid. Some things had happened, and I'd put this little iron jacket around it. And I never really felt, after a certain age, I think it was when I hit senior school, I never really felt anything in my body. It was as if I'd detached my energy out of my body, and I was just watching it wandering around having an experience. So I'd sort of shut this thing down. And the only thing that ever made me feel was adrenaline. So if I'd go downhill mountain biking, or go on roller coasters that turn you upside down at high speed, or go to horror scare nights, or do you know what I mean? Or go on motorbikes, the adrenaline of a motorbike, you know, when I'd wind one right up, I'd feel, my whole body would feel. So I think that's why I got sort of like addicted to adrenaline, really, because I couldn't feel in my heart. I just didn't. I've always been a happy, loving. People always go, Wendy's loving and happy. I'd never felt it on the inside though, Gina, until I've had it opened up recently, and now it's like, oh wow, that's what your heart feels like. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. That is interesting. And it's difficult, isn't it? Because we don't really know what feelings feel like until we've felt them ourselves. So you can look at other people looking happy or looking in love, but you don't know what it feels like to be them, because you can't feel somebody else's heart or somebody else's body. So it's, I don't know, this is from my own experience as well, just trying to work out, actually, is this all that there is? Am I missing something?
Yeah. Someone said to me a few years ago, oh, I get so much joy out of this and I get so much joy out of that. What do you get joy out of? And I sort of sat there blank faced thinking, I don't actually know what joy feels like. And it was a weird thing to say, because when I was trying to get some joy in my body, and I was thinking, what is joy? I don't even know what joy feels like.
No.
You know, I've had so many experiences of people telling me that I only have fun, certain situations, I only have fun with other people and not them, and I'm a fun killer. And once again, belief systems can come in really, really quickly, even as an adult. If someone tells you something enough times, there's a chance you might start believing it.
Yeah.
So, you know, for me, I'd have one bunch of friends saying to me, you know, I always have a laugh with you. You're so much fun. You're so funny. And then I'd have a couple of people who say, you know, you never have fun when you're with us. And I'd be conflicting information. And so I've spent quite a lot of years thinking, am I a fun killer? I don't know.
Yeah. And what is a fun killer? What is that? Yeah.
I've no idea. Yeah. And it's only working in, like I say, neurology, neuroprogramming, the PTSD trauma stuff, and coaching people for the last however long now, that I've sort of realised that's someone just telling me their map of reality, that they probably don't have any fun. So they're just going to
they're going to push it onto you.
They blame me for their lack of fun. But yeah, the feeling thing has been a funny thing, because I do, you know, we spoke briefly about the heart coherence. I do heart coherence every day. After the Joe Dispenza, I feel it now. I mean, really? I feel it like my head.
A different level to when we spoke before.
Yeah. Because then I would have trouble when I'm generating gratitude, compassion, appreciation. I think I joked and said I have to look at my wardrobes to get gratitude running, because I've got these beautiful fitted wardrobes that when I wake up I go, I can't see any clothes. I love it. You know what I mean? So it's something genuine that I can get the emotions running with.
Yeah, I must say, because I find that difficult as well. And when people, because my son said to me the other day, because you're the happiest person I know, and it's like, well, why is it sometimes inside then I'm not feeling as happy as my face is looking?
Yeah.
And maybe I've just got this But when I first started the heart coherence thing and real feeling gratitude of anything, anywhere that you can pull it from, whether it's wardrobes or whether it's from, you know, the birth of your children or whatever, it took me a long while to really find a moment in time where I can totally feel that. And that was like breastfeeding my premature baby son for the first time, but it took me ages to find it. And even now, though, I've got that memory, and if I really tap into it, I can almost feel, don't know if you've breastfed before, but your breasts sort of tingle, and I can almost get that feeling going on when I really tap in, when I'm really getting to the moment.
Yeah, you've got, this is the thing with anything, you've got, you know, your chemical factory is powerful, the chemistry we run on the inside, and if you want to get the best benefit of it, you've got to do it with intention and with passion. You know, so when I get into the heart coherence, there's no point sitting there doing a bit of heart coherence going, oh yeah, I feel, you know, because you're not going to get any of the chemistry running. And what I find is it's like overcoming yourself to become what you want to. You've got to overcome that old program that's saying to you while you're doing it, oh, you could be watching the TV, or you could be making a cup of tea, or you could be out in the garden, or, you know, your body develops its own mind, doesn't it? So sometimes you just have to get it to sit down and teach it that this is what we're now going to do, and you'll do as you're told, until we've got the feelings. Because then when you've got the feelings, and I know this even more now, when you generate them and you spend time in there and you get them up and get them up and get them up and get them up, it's like, you know, and everything will go better in your day as well. Plus supporting your, you know, your whole biophysical self. It's great.
Definitely. And it does, because it takes a while to maybe get there, especially if you're not in a bit of a dark place and you're almost like, there's nothing going right in my life, I've got nothing to be grateful for. But then when you tap into it, and I remember when I first came across this idea and sort of gave myself reminders during the day to then tap into it, and there was a lot of mind chatter going on. Well, this is a waste of time, you could be doing something different, all of that stuff but just almost force yourself to say, no, I'm going to do that for my 5-minute timer, or my 2-minute timer, or 30-second time, or whatever you can start with that you can then build up to. And it does make a difference.
It does. Like this morning, I woke up this morning and I had some weird stuff going on in the energy centers in the body. People know them as chakras, I just call them energy centers. And solar plexus one was doing some weird stuff when I woke up, and I thought, I'm not getting out of bed, I'm just going to balance. I do a little meditation where you can just balance your energy centers really quickly. All it takes is focusing on number one root, and then just going up them one by one and getting them spinning properly. You can do it in literally about 8 minutes. It doesn't take long.
Right, yeah.
And it was really funny because I started on number one. Oh yeah, number one's going. Got number two's going. And then my head went off somewhere. And I was thinking about something, cup of coffee, doing something. And I was like, right, no, you'll start from number one again. So it's like I must have restarted 20 times until the body and brain was like, right, we really want a cup of coffee.
Let's get this done.
Focus on what she wants, because otherwise we're going to be lying here all day, starting 1, 2, 3, back again. Yeah, and but spending that time doing that changed my day, because I got up with a body in balance rather than a body out of balance. So, because I think, you know, when we look at energy centers, they all relate to aspects of life, don't they? And different bits and pieces and organs in the body and all sorts of things. So if you've got a few of them out of whack and you don't balance yourself in whatever way you choose to balance, could be heart coherence or something. This morning for me, it was energy centers. You know, you take that into your day. It's the state you've created to take with you into your day. And I'd prefer to create a right state rather than being a right old state. So I like to spend the time in the morning and just go, you know, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour, do something to create that state, because I know that whatever I get out of bed with is pretty much what is going to be the, you know, the leading force throughout my day. It'll be like my default.
So when you, because I've done some stuff around the energy centers as well, about the chakras, and I don't really feel them though. Do you feel them?
Only, this is going to sound weird, but this is something I didn't know either, only if I get up and do it between 1 and 4 o'clock in the morning. Which is the oddest thing, and there is a reason behind that. Apparently melatonin is at its maximum production between 1 and 4. So if you want to do any like mystical meditations, connect to the unified field in a deep way and have mystical experiences and really fire up your pineal gland, between 1 and 4 in the morning is the best time to do it. Now, I've only learned all this over the last week being at the retreat. I've always done the energy centers meditation, and I don't feel them, I see them. So I could visualize them, but I always do it morning or maybe late afternoon, early evening or something. I got home from an event. I never stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning, and we were really late. And when I got into bed, I thought, actually, I'm just going to put on an energy centers thing to go to sleep with. And it was really weird because I got into bed and felt them all. I could actually physically feel them. So it must be that time frame at between 1 and 4 in the morning.
Yeah, maybe because I've done. And when you say you've put on a sort of meditation, is that just something you've created, or is that just from YouTube? Or
yeah, I'll grab an energy centers meditation. Yeah. Joe Dispenza's got loads of them.
Yeah,
it's really easy to do yourself as well. I've done so many years of guided meditation. You don't need them.
No. Well, yeah, I do quite a few. I like to do them for myself as well, because sometimes I listen to them and I'm a little bit judgy. I think, oh well, that doesn't really work for me. I want to do something similar and put my own take on it.
Yeah, so I'm teaching myself at the moment, because I didn't realize this. I thought meditation, you always have to follow a guided thing. I don't. It's just it was a program I'd got running that I thought had to happen. What I've now really do get is that you don't need it. You can just sit down, breathe, coherence, bit of spinal breathing, and then just drop yourself into the nothing, and then do what you want to do in that space.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice. The one I did this morning was just literally me going, breathe, focus on number 1, spin number 1. It's red. Watch it like a vortex. And then when I could see it, I'd go, perfect, there we go, that's all in time. Up to number 2. What does number 2 look like? Well, it's orange. What way is it? It's spinning this way. Spend a bit of time making sure it's spinning. Colour's good. Yeah, up to number 3. So that was all I was doing. It's just spending time focusing. No music, just laying in bed.
Yeah.
Quite nice. But sometimes I do them with music.
So if you couldn't see them spinning, so I can, because I know the colour, they follow the colours of the rainbow, don't they? All the way to the top. So it's easy to remember from that point of view. I've got a bit of understanding about what each one sort of means, and you can certainly look that up anywhere on the internet, can't you? But then I still don't like to use the word struggle, but don't necessarily physically. I can't see these guiding, bright lights. I'm telling myself I can, but
So intention and focus, that's all it's about. Wherever you put your focus, your energy goes to that space anyway, and your awareness. And if you're struggling, touch your body. Okay. So when we were learning certain ones, I was actually touching, like, down near my lady bits, the chakra, just underneath the belly button, solar plexus, heart. So I'm making sure that my attention is going to these spaces. Pineal, I'd do that for my pineal gland, because they do one for the pineal in the middle of the head.
Right.
Third eye, top of the head. But I'd actually physically touch things, because then your body goes, oh, why are you focused there? And then you direct your thoughts down there. And it's like anything with practice, you become better and better and better.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. And even if you don't, and I'd say this from my own point of view, even if you go through the exercise and you don't feel like you've actually done it, you have done it, and then just give yourself a pat on the back for taking that step and moving forward and doing the practice.
Yeah, definitely. And it is just the practice that leads to the progress, and that leads to your performance in that area. So I always say to people, if you want to be a great tennis player and end up at Wimbledon, you don't hit a ball once.
No,
you've got to be on the court every day. Same with football, same with basketball.
Yeah, to be a master at anything,
you got to do it.
Yeah,
that's one thing where people fall a bit short, because they go, well, I tried that meditation for a day.
Yeah,
it didn't work. So you wanted to go to Wimbledon, you hit one ball. Did you get to Wimbledon? No. It's how much you want it. And sometimes as well, we've got all these negative limiting beliefs around what meditation is. I mean, after studying the science for a week of what it does in the body, if you've got, they've been studying these guys for over 6 years now, and they blood test, brain scan and all that before, after, during meditation. And what they've shown is we watched one study, anxiety, depression, fibromyalgia, ME, and something else I can't remember. Might have been a skin condition. So they got people, one set were taking pharmaceuticals, one set were just meditating. The pharmaceuticals they found will give you 10% success rate. Meditation will give you 60 to 70% success rate.
Wow.
efficacy in lowering that. So your body can innately heal itself. When you get back into homeostasis through meditation, and meditation doesn't have to be done like this. You can meditate while you're sat in the garden drinking a cup of tea, just breathing and smiling. While you're breathing and smiling and watching things, that's meditation. It's just to become familiar with. That is all the word means. So it's just finding something that works for you, that brings you down out your sympathetic nervous system into your parasympathetic more often. So you're in that rest and digest. And from the rest and digest state, your body can heal itself.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely talking my language there, because this is what, because we're in a place now, most people, that, you know, stress is upon us all the time. There's fear all around us.
Yeah.
And if we've got an illness of any kind, or, you know, a disability of any kind, then it's going to give more stress to us. And if our body's in stress, then it's not doing its repair job, is it? It's not.
Well, it can't. And you think of the stressors now, like years and years and years ago, you know, your reptilian brain, that part of the brain with the fight and flight, would fire up and make you alert when something moved. And you know, pay attention, go, what is that? Do I need
and that was almost like, you need a risk assessment here. Something's going on.
You've got 45 seconds to either kick it in the head or leg it.
Yeah.
That's basically it. No freezing in this, you know. So that would be, and you'd run, you'd use the adrenaline, it gives you everything,
get out of the place,
and then you relax. Yeah. And that's how it was. That was what our fight and flight mechanisms are designed for. Now what happens is, when someone's mobile phone goes ding, they go into fight and flight. When an email arrives, they go into fight and flight. When the post comes through the door, they go into fight and flight. When they get stuck in traffic, they go into fight and flight. If their coffee doesn't arrive on time, they're in fight and flight. You know, so the whole day is set up to keep you in a space of stress.
Yeah.
When you know this and you can become aware of it and go, actually, wow, like, and people get into that state of stress and think it's normal. So they live in this heightened, stressed out state. But what you're doing to your body, you're killing your body off. You're running spikes of really negative hormones that are actually destroying you at a cellular level and creating massive disease in your body by holding you in that space of stress all day that you think is normal. So it's having those, recognizing that in this day and age of everything gets delivered in 24 hours with Amazon Prime, you know, it's just like, spend some time. You don't have to take long. 2-3 minutes of heart coherence will bring you straight out of sympathetic. You know, so it's just having practices throughout the day, isn't it? To just go, actually, I just want to make sure, not get obsessed with it. Just go, I've just arrived at work. A couple of minutes of heart coherence, just to make sure I'm in the right state to greet my colleagues and start my day. You know, at your break, another couple of minutes, just to make sure I'm in the right state, whatever that meditation may be for you. Yeah. And if you do that, you'll just find that life gets a lot easier.
It does become easier, and your body's then in a place to be able to do what it does inherently and naturally if we allow it.
Exactly. It's the allowing of it. And like I say, we've not been taught these things. Through school, you're taught to remember information, regurgitate information, and pass exams.
That's a whole nother subject. Don't get me started on our education
system. That's a 5-hour seminar for me. On the indoctrination system of education. Yes.
But it's so interesting. I think they're just getting into schools a little bit. Maybe if you get a like forward-thinking teacher that teaches a bit of meditation practice, or even just a bit of breath work, to, you know, before they go into exams and before anything like that, because we do put a lot of pressure on our little youngsters.
Well, and that's the thing, they shouldn't be learning. And this gets me, we won't go into education because me and you will be there for hours.
We will.
This is what gets me though. It's one man's opinion of what they think you should learn and know to live life. That doesn't involve practical skills, social skills, you know, financial skills.
How to work your emotions, how to do, you know, look after your body.
It doesn't involve any of that unless you specialise at a later date in college or something like that. You know?
But even then, it doesn't, and you're missing the fundamentals around, you know, budgeting even, and you know,
how to write a check
and all that sort of stuff,
how to pay your bill. It's all, I work in schools. I see so much that we're breaking our children with, I call it the Ofsted press. We won't stay on this for long. Ofsted goes, we need these stats. So they press the head teachers or the CEOs first. CEOs press the head teachers. Head teachers press the SLTs. SLTs press the teachers. Teachers have a meltdown because they haven't got time to do all of that and deal with the children that are emotional, kinesthetic, and don't want to stare at a blackboard. And then it just all ends up on the kids. The kids, it all goes tits up really quickly. And then we end up where we are. There you go. That's Wendy's quick break.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
So chuck them out of school until they're 11 years old. Send them back down the fields like we used to as kids, climbing trees, swinging about, you know, and then just come in. What do you want to learn, kids? Pretty much. We've got these type of classes. What would you like to learn?
Yeah, well, this is it. We're a bit learner-led, and now, of course, we're in the world of the internet. It's more about what questions you need to ask rather than what you need to learn.
Yeah, and this is a problem. This is. I saw that yesterday. I drove back from my business partner's over in. She's about 40 minutes away. And I drove through one of the little towns really slowly because there's a lot of traffic. And I'm an observer. I'm a people watcher. I love it. Not one person had their head up. It bemused me driving through. I was thinking, I am in a different dimension now.
Yeah, it does feel a bit like that, doesn't it?
People sat on park benches on benches in the high street
next to each other
on their phone. People walking down the road on their phone, bumping into other people. And it's like
crossing roads without even looking up.
I nearly had someone she literally just walked straight out on her phone. It's a good job, you know. And I'm like, babe, she's like that. Oh God, sorry. And it's like,
I know.
You know, it's so tech. I think tech is really good. It's really helpful. But however, tech is destroying some people.
Yeah, I think there's definitely things around that. But that sort of, so thanks for we're not going to go on to that for too long, otherwise we'll be talking here forever. We've only
Let's go back to where we were.
Yeah. What did we say? We've got about, we've only got 5 more minutes. So quickly in the 5 more minutes, because Wendy's going to end us with a lovely mindful exercise or something that we can take away. But what is it that now you talked a little bit about your work that you do? So tell us a little bit more about the work that you do now.
Oh, okay. So I've come out of when I came out of the Paralympics, I qualified as a level.
But that's a whole subject. We haven't even.
I was Paralympic wheelchair basketball players, by the way. See the trophies up on the. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole nother Wendy.
Yeah, we'll do it.
So coaching led into NLP master trainer to sort my own head out. That was what that was about. But then that led into coaching, wandering into PTSD and trauma therapy. So I'm a trauma specialist, basically. That's what I do. But my business partner is a naturopath and a gut health specialist. And we both worked a lot one-on-one with people. And then we thought, why don't we just put this into retreat spaces so people can come, have a 5-day intensive experience where we actually educate them. So you get taught about your mindset, how your programming works. You know, I go a lot into the energy of thoughts and a bit of the quantum stuff as well. I have equipment I can measure your thought processes with there, and then to show you how heart coherence works and how to quieten your mind. I've got lots of gadgets that I can attach to you. So, and then Claire goes through from her side with the gut brain axis, very important with the emotional health, how your gut works, how everybody is a unique system. So we don't just bring people on retreats to like pat them and then send them back to life so they go back into their stressed responses with no tools. We educate them, empower them with some tools, get them to strip back their life and have a look at it. So they really do truly get on a deep level, they're aware of their human system, how it works, how they've got to where they are. They can own it and then make changes. So that's pretty much what we do on our retreats. We love it, really.
Wow. So whereabouts are your retreats then?
Well, the next one's on the 6th of October down in Cornwall in Bude. So we do everything off season as well. So it's always off season because most people are away with their kids through the summer holidays. But we do Cornwall. We've got a place lined up in Spain that we're looking forward to going out to next year, and one in Portugal as well. Nice. So we're only going to limit them to those at the moment because we're just building the business. We're enjoying doing it. We get some lovely people come down from all walks of life who just want to know more about themselves and how to get a better result in life. And that's it. And have a laugh, join a like-minded community.
Yeah.
And,
well, I think that when you talk about the community, I think that's such a big piece, isn't it, of when you're looking at changing anything in your life, but particularly your mindset. I think having a community around you that are looking at things in a similar way that you are is so important. I know that's been the case for me, having these conversations with people that are finding the gift in their you know, the awful things that happen in their life, real adversity stuff. I mean, what could get more adversity than like being told you're paralyzed from the waist down or the chest down, and then to come out the other side and to find, you know, to find the gift in it and actually recognize that, yeah, this is part of my life journey and it can be great.
Yeah, so I mean, just briefly on the Joe Dispenza retreat, the lovely thing for me was there was 2,527 people there,
Wow.
all wanting roughly the same thing, which is just to know more and delve deeper. But I met so many people who'd got brain tumours, stage 4 cancer, like leukemia, stuff wrong with them that was, you know, that made me think I haven't got a problem. You know, my life is pretty good and I haven't got a problem. The reason I say that is because they were healees. You could have coherence healing sessions.
Right.
And I'd applied to be one and hadn't heard back. And when I arrived there, I thought, after speaking to people, I thought, well,
no,
anyone can have my spot because I'm all right. I'll sort this stuff out at home with what you teach me, you know, but you have it or you have it because you really need it over me. And it sort of made, you know, I suppose humbled me up a little bit. I've always been quite humble, but it just made me appreciate even more the delicacy of a human system, and you know how we need to learn this stuff about ourselves, all this buried knowledge that we can heal ourselves from trauma and from disease in the body. You know, if you break your leg, you need a doctor. No amount of Reiki is going to fix that. But you know, we've got a lot of things on the inside that we can do ourselves, and we've just never been taught. So to share this information with people is quite a passion of mine, to help them along their journey with what they want to know to get the results they want. So
yeah, nice one. Well, thank you. Yeah, and thanks for all the work that you're doing, and yeah, just thanks for sharing it. And like I said, I'll have to have you back and we can talk more about your Paralympian experience, because that was a whole section that I heard when you spoke about last time, which just, I think it's just allowing doors to open when you're, you know, when doors are shutting around you, that you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do the other. And it's like, right, okay, let's have a look at what doors actually are opening then, and what we can do, and how can I move forward in a direction that maybe I didn't want to, you know, never would have chosen if it was down to me. But hey, look where it's taken you.
On that, the interesting one with that as well, if you'd have said to me when I was 13 years old, you know, what is your life going to be like, do you think? I'd have said, I'm probably going to be a car mechanic, own my own garage at some point, have a house, have some kids, get married. That would have been it. Go on 2 holidays a year, like my parents did. That would have been it. And that has not happened at all. I've never been married, never had kids. The stuff I've done is just, honestly, it's been unbelievable. When I talk to people about my life and they go, you've done what? And you've done what? But for me, it's just like normal stuff that happens. Like, you know, I stumbled into wheelchair basketball and was in the team within 3 months, and then at a Paralympic Games within 16 months. And it was just like, well, that just happened. It just, like you say, doors. If you just allow doors to open and go, oh, that looks like fun.
Yeah, rather than stressing about the things that you can't do anymore, because that just doesn't serve you at all.
It's been an interesting 33-year experience from the accident, definitely. And it's still going. It's still going.
It's still going. Absolutely, it's still going on. Like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing you run again, and seeing, but maybe we'll be at the same race, same fun run or whatever it is that you fancy doing.
You know, I'd like to do one of them. What are they called, a rough mudder or something? What are they called?
Oh yeah, tough mudder thing.
Tough mudders.
Tough mudder, yeah.
Yeah, that's my idea of fun running.
Yeah, I did one with the kids when they were younger, which was it was fun. It was fun. Yeah, you get very muddy and you don't care, and you go down funny slides, and
definitely. Right,
so
we'll book that as a date.
Sorry,
we'll book that as a date, Jean.
Yes, that would be nice. Some selfies on social media platforms. Yeah. So as we're coming to the end of our hour, so thank you so much. You said you're going to share a little exercise with us that we can use during our day to help get us into that nice healing state that you spoke about.
Well, I'm going to just teach the listeners 2 things. So one of them is something I use in therapy, but we use it for many, many different reasons. We call it a tennis ball technique. And all it does is it quietens your frontal lobes pretty much instantly and allows you to connect your creative center, or go deep into the subconscious, unconscious, whatever you want to call it. So it's a really nice little technique. And then from that, I'll wander straight into heart coherence. because heart coherence is obviously one of the most beneficial things
Mm-hmm.
for the body. And it's free because you have it on the inside.
Yeah.
So would you like me to start?
Yes, please.
Right, so if all the lovely listeners and yourself then could just stare at a spot in front of you and just focus your eyes on that spot for me. And as you're doing that, just loosen off your jaw, because we hold a lot of tension in the jaw. And then just softly allow yourself, without moving your eyeballs too much, to see more above and below and more side to side. So you're just sort of like expanding and flexing your visual range. And then just take a lovely, long, deep breath from the belly and allow your eyes to close. And then I just want you to imagine what is in the space behind you. So you all know your environments, you all know what's behind you now. And just allow your awareness for a moment to drop into that space and just go backwards. So go outside of the building that you're in, and then go outside of the village, town, or city that you're in. Just allow your awareness to go further back. And just keep opening up that awareness. And just notice when you let it go and let it expand, it's infinite. It goes all sides around you, above and below you. Just like a nothingness space that's infinitely vast. And just drift for a moment in that space. Just allowing yourself to just keep expanding that awareness out and out. And just see if you can feel the connection to the energetic nothing that there is that fills absolutely everything. And then as you're doing that, I'd just like you to imagine, visualize, or just think about floating a tennis ball behind the back of your head. And when you can do that, just notice the colour of it. And then just change the colour. And then just change the colour again. And then maybe place a number on the ball. And then just change the number. And then just move that ball around in the space behind you to all the spaces and places that allow you just to relax more deeply now. And just notice when you relax deeply, what relaxes first in the body. Is it your face, your hands, your shoulders, your legs, your feet, your arms? And then from that space of relaxation, just bring your focus and attention back to a space in the middle of your head where you can notice everything around you with no effort. And then I'd like you to take another long, deep belly breath for me. And just place both hands on your heart. And we're just going to wander into a little bit of heart coherence now. The reason we place our hands on our heart is because wherever we place our hands on our body, it puts our focus and attention on that space. So it makes it easier when you're learning this. And what I'd like you to do is just start connecting into your breathing. So just make sure you're breathing from your belly, not your chest. See if you can take nice long breaths in, maybe to the count of 9 or 11. And then slightly longer on the way out. A slightly shorter breath on the way in. And then a nice, really long, slow breath in. And then just for a moment, imagine that that breath that you're taking now is coming from the heart space. So as you breathe in, you feel your heart fill up with love and energy. And as you breathe out, you just release and let go of anything that's tense in that space. And just breathe in again. Just feel that lovely energy flowing into your heart space. And as you breathe out, just let go again of any tension or negativity in that space. And then I'd like you just to think of something, it can be anything, that you're grateful for, that you have compassion for, that you appreciate or you care about. And just create that image in your mind's eye. And just spend some time really deeply focusing on that and noticing how that feels in the heart space. When you think about care, compassion, appreciation, gratitude and love, where do you feel it on the inside in your heart? Just really tune into that space. And then just put a small smile, just bring the corners, a nice soft smile, corners of your mouth up a little bit. And then just spend a moment really feeling that feeling and smiling into the heart space. Smile and feel that compassion, care, appreciation, love and gratitude on the way in. And on the way out, just allow to release and let go of anything negative. And then as you go in again, nice smile on your face. Breathe in that love, that care, compassion, gratitude, appreciation. Maybe hold it for a moment. Feel it building. Notice how that energy just moves around your body. And then breathe out and just release it all out again. And just go again, nice deep breath in and feel the love, care, compassion on the way in. And hold it at the top of the breath and just allow that energy to build, that feeling to build. Increase the size of those images in your mind that are making you do that little smile on your face at the moment. And just notice the more you increase the chemistry, the more you just want to smile. And then just allow it out again. And we'll do one more beautiful big breath in. And this time really pull it in, really pull in all that love, that compassion, that gratitude, that care. And hold it right at the top and allow that feeling to build and build and build and build. Increase the size of the images, the brightness of the images. And smile and enjoy that feeling. And then just release. And then just gently bring your focus and attention back to your body. The weight of you in your chair or on your sofa, wherever you are. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Take another lovely deep breath, and then when you feel ready, and only when you feel ready, just allow your eyes to open.
Thank you. That was very lovely. And I really have, yeah, I just appreciate the way that you delivered that. And certainly when you did a similar exercise when I first met you at the festival. I'd done heart coherence before, but I think with another take on it, somebody else's, it just sort of up-leveled it a bit. So it's always worth listening to how other people talk about it and how they develop it. A bit like what you said with the Joe Dispenza thing, you know, your awareness and your appreciation to it all and how you practice it has moved on and up-leveled. And it is a never-ending process, isn't it, that we're
every day is a school day, is what one of my mentors says to me.
Yeah,
he always says as well, remember that you know nothing. And that's really helpful, because in the speck of everything that's ever known anywhere at all times, I know the size of the top of my finger.
Yeah.
It's always good to bring yourself back down to earth, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So thank you so much. And with regarding to your work, if people want to get hold of you and learn more about your retreats and your coaching, what's the best way of getting hold of you?
So the two easiest ways, really. I have got some really lovely groups on Facebook, but I can't remember what my Facebook thing is. I remember the Instagram, but I don't use that. So my website is wendysmith.me.uk. And our retreat site is ultimateretreats.life. So there's the two. They're the two websites, and you can get hold of me or my business partner Claire.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll probably put the links in the sort of introduction bit.
Oh, lovely.
So people can click in easily. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your practices and just having such a great open conversation, because well done for finding the gift in all of your trauma. And and just being, just sharing it all with the world, really. Well,
Oh, it's no worries. Like I say, to me, it's funny because to me, it's just life.
yeah.
Just stuff happens, get on with it, isn't it? That's pretty much our family motto. But it is nice to know that what I've been through and what I've learned can help others and give them a different perspective. So
Definitely.
beautiful thing to share.
Thank you so much.
My absolute pleasure.